Hello, welcome to the 1000 Icons Consulting Excel training series. In this video, we're going to look at how to create a dynamic column chart. My name is Karo Ezuzu. Let us go straight to our data. Now, I have hypothetical data here. We have serial number, this most likely sales report from 10 locations, Kano down to Bauchi for 6 months. Now, you can actually create a one chart here. Just create one single column chart to represent this. But if you look at this, it's actually looking a bit crowded. So an alternative is for you to create a chart that we can actually navigate to pick one month after the other. So what I'm going to do is I want to create a drop down here to represent all the months. Then I'm going to click the drop down, select a particular month, and I want to see the chart representation in that particular order. So let me create a chart there. I'm going to call up the data validation. We'll go to data validation. I select list. From list, I'm going to take the source to be the 6 months, January to June. And I select OK. Now I have my data in that place. So if I click on this, I'm going to get all the months here, the 6 months. I can select any of the months. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to create another column. I can place it anywhere, but for the purpose of this trade, let's place it here. Let's call it the chart month. Let's call it the chart month. So the chart month will be whatever month I select here. So that's going to be the chart month. Whatever month I select, there will be the chart month. So if I select January, it's going to be January. I'm going to chart. If I select March, it's going to be March. Now let's leave it at January and then try. So what I'm going to do is if I select January, all the figures of January should be here. If I pick March, all the figures of March should be here. And I can use a series of options. But let me use the H lookup, which is also a popular option. I'm going to say equal to H lookup. When I take H lookup, since it's a lookup value, the first is going to ask me is what value am I looking for? So I can select this one or even the one on top, any of them, since they are the same value. So I click this and I'm going to hold it fixed. Now the next thing is I take a comma, it's going to ask me table array. Now I'm selecting the whole of this table down here as my table array, and I'm going to hold that fixed with function F4. Now the next thing as I take, going to ask me row index number. Now because I am talking about Kano here, I can actually say row number 2, this row number 3, but I usually avoid that because that will translate to hard coding, which is not very encouraging in Excel. So I'm going to use a function to determine the row number. Remember that H lookup will look up a particular value at the top row of your selected data range. That means in our selection here, it's going to look up January at the top row of this range and return another value to the bottom of that particular row. So if I pick Kano will be second row, but I'm not going to use 2. I'm going to use the match function to determine that for us. So match function is going to ask me what value am I looking for. I want to search for the row value of Kano. And I select comma. It's asking me table array. Now remember the lookup array for match by definition is different from the lookup array for H lookup and V lookup. The lookup array for match is either a column or a row where the lookup value is to be found. In this case, I'm looking for Kano and I'm going to select the column where it is found. So it's this column and I hold that fixed with my F4. I take my comma, it's asking for the exact match. Oh sure, I'm going to look for the exact figure. Now I've finished with match, which is the row number. I close my bracket and I go back to H lookup to select true or false. I want the exact match, so I'm going to go to false and I pick this. That's all I need to do. I hit my enter key and that's all. I get 890. So that means January, you can see January for this is 890. If I select another month, let me pick say March. If I pick March, it's telling me March for January is 586, which is right. This is correct. I'm just going to copy this down to this. So whichever month I select here will be reproduced in this my chart month. So I'm going to put my chart for this column B against column I. I highlight this, hold my control key, hold the month, and then I highlight this. That's all I need to do. I now draw my column chart. The shortcut for drawing a column chart is Alt F1. So Alt F1 produce a column chart for me. So this is my column chart for the month of January. Let me place it here and make it a little bit big. So now I have my column chart. What I'm going to do next, usually for my charts, I like to conserve space as much as possible. So if I can take out this column here, this item here, it's usually better for me. So let me make this wider. I click on any of the bars, right click, and I'm going straight to format data series. So I can call up the format data series in this place. I want to make it a bit wider. Yeah, this is fine. So now again, I want to vary the color so that I don't have the same color for all. I'm going to the fill and I select vary color by points. So I have the various colors. Now I also want to see if I can place the amount, sales amount, on the chart as well as the location. If I'm able to do that and it's fine, I can take out those columns. So let me see. I think I need to widen that a little bit more. Yeah, okay. So let me right click on this and I go to data label. Remember, in this data label, you have two items, add data labels and add data callout. Data label will only add the amount, while data callout will add both the amount and the location. So let's try this and see if it's okay. I think it's cool. So now that I have this, I don't need this item again. I can delete this one. And of course, I already have this. I can take out this one. Now, this is how my chart should be. I usually advise that don't put grid lines on your chart. So I'm going to take out the grid lines. Let me take out my grid line and probably make the background slightly. Let me take a light color for the background. This is cool. So let me take this. Now I'm also going to do some little coloration to my chart. This is fine. So I have this now. This is for January transaction. So if I want to, I don't need this anyway. If I want February, I come here and I select the month of February and I can see my chart being represented by February. If I want May, I select this and I can see May being represented. If I want June, I select this and this is June transaction. But look at the heading. Let's try to look at the way the heading is. The heading is just showing June, January. I don't think that's a good heading. I would rather let it be something like sales report for the month of June, sales report for the month of that. So I'm going to create a line and reference that. So what am I going to? I'm going to use the function called test join. You can use concat, you can use concatenate, you can use ampersand, but I want to use the test join. Now test join is not available in lower versions unless you are on Microsoft 365. So I'm going to say equal to test join. When I select test join, it's asking me for a delimiter. Now of course I want the delimiter to be a space and I take a comma. If there's anything I want it to ignore. Now the first test is going to be, we said sales report. So let's say sales report for the month of. That is the first line. I will take a, okay, I don't even need to take a comma so that I don't know. I just need to put the next test after a comma. The next test says so for the month of is going to be this month, June. So I click on that June. So it's going to be sales report for the month of June. Okay, let's put the year 2024. Let's put that year for the month of June 2024. Now, I'm not going to place a quotation mark on that 2024 because you know the rule. If you are introducing an item that is not a number, you put the quotation mark. But if it's a number, the quotation mark is not necessary. So I don't need to put a double quote for the 2024. It should still work out. Let's hit enter and see. Great. So this is now my title. So what I'm going to do, I come here, go to my formula bar and I take equal to, I click on this. So this is going to be my report. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. Okay, this is fine. So I have sales report for the month of June. Now if I select January, let's see what our heading will look like. It's going to be sales report for the month of January 2024. Now I don't need to see this one on my line. I just take it out. So this is my report. You can make it fairly big so that your chart is beautiful. Now all I need to do, let me just color this place so I know what I'm doing there. I just select anything here and this is my chart for the month of March. Sales report for the month of March 2024. I come here again, I select May, sales report for the month of May. So just selecting this, I can easily say that in the month of March, Lagos did much more than other as 889 million, while Kano was the least performing in the month of March at 373. So let's see how they all fared in the month of January. January, we have Edo doing much better than the rest with 902, while Oyo did 453. Let's see what April was. In the month of April, Oyo still came top with 834, while Plateau was, okay, not Plateau, Niger had 305. So I can actually use this dynamic chart to look at the performance of each of the months by merely clicking on any of them. Thank you very much for listening. In other videos, we're going to see much more of what Excel can do. Bye-bye.